Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind roars like 1,000 drums, the rain cuts through the air like blades, and the sky itself seems to tremble. But the real storm is not outside. It's inside your mind. A battlefield where thoughts clash like swords, where every doubt, distraction, and fear fights for control. In the age of endless noise, your mind has become a battlefield without rest. Every sound, every scroll, every notification pulls you away from yourself. You are surrounded by voices that demand attention and feed restlessness. You feel it. The exhaustion that comes not from work, but from being constantly pulled away from presence. Yet centuries ago, one man learned how to master this chaos. His name was Miyamoto Musashi, a samurai who fought more than 60 duels and never lost. But the greatest enemy he ever faced could not bleed. It lived in the silence between thoughts, the restless mind. What he conquered was not the world around him, but the storm within. Musashi called this unseen enemy the enemy that does not bleed. It hides behind hesitation, overthinking, and fear. You felt it before, when you waste hours scrolling through endless feeds and feel hollow after, when you avoid a task you know matters, when you silence your own instincts with endless doubts. It's not laziness. It's the mind turning against itself. He discovered that the mind has two spirits: the warrior spirit, focused, calm, and present, and the ghost spirit, restless, scattered, living in the past and worrying about the future. The ghost spirit has no power in the present moment. It feeds on memory and fear. The warrior spirit, however, exists only here and now. Every decision, every breath, every movement, pure awareness. To live with the warrior spirit means to stop letting the past poison your present. The past is a shadow. The future is a mirage. Only this moment is real, and it is all you ever truly have. The mind may wander, but the body never leaves this moment. And Musashi's way was to unite them, thought and action as one. He forged his most legendary technique, the single cut, a strike so pure it ended duels in seconds. But what most people never understood is that the single cut was not just a physical skill, it was a way of thinking. It was the discipline of clarity, cutting away every unnecessary thought until only truth remained. When your mind says, "What if I fail?" Cut. When it whispers, "What if I'm not ready?" Cut. When it screams, "What if I'm not enough?" Cut. Don't fight your thoughts with more thoughts, just stop feeding them. Doubt thrives on attention. Starve it, and it dies. Musashi said, "A warrior does not fight with anger. He fights with clarity." This is not violence toward your mind. It is precision. When a thought weakens you, cut it within 3 seconds. Don't explain. Don't justify. Make the clean strike. Every time you do, you reclaim your power. But clarity is not born from chaos, it's born from stillness. Every morning before the world awakened, Musashi would sit alone in complete silence. No prayers, no rituals, just presence. He called it the silent morning. He understood that when the lake of the mind is turbulent, you see only distortion. But when it becomes still, you can see the reflection of truth. Try it yourself. 10 minutes before the noise of the world begins, no phone, no plans, no to-do list, just breathe. Let the thoughts drift by like clouds in the sky. Observe them, but don't chase them. Then, when your mind begins to settle, choose one thing, the single task that truly matters today, and commit to it fully. This ritual is not about relaxation. It is strategy. In stillness, the warrior plans. In silence, he finds clarity. The average person begins each day in distraction. The warrior begins in awareness. One fights chaos with control. The other transcends it with calm. Clarity is the rarest form of power. In a world addicted to information, those who are clear can cut through anything. People without clarity drift. They chase what is urgent and forget what is important. They change direction with every new opinion, every emotion, every voice louder than their own. But the warrior who knows his purpose cannot be moved. Before every battle, Musashi focused on one single intention: to move forward without hesitation. That simplicity made him unstoppable. And the same principle applies to your life. You do not need more motivation, you need fewer distractions. The moment you know your direction, the fog clears. Musashi also understood that hesitation kills the warrior's spirit. In battle, to hesitate was to die. He trained himself to make decisions quickly and with conviction, not because he always knew the right answer, but because he understood that movement reveals truth. A wrong decision corrected by awareness is better than no decision made at all. He lived by what we could call the 30-second rule. 10 seconds to understand, 10 seconds to evaluate, 10 seconds to act. That's it. The mind loves endless preparation because it fears responsibility. But confidence does not precede action. It follows it. Fear grows with delay. Action cuts it down. Musashi said, "To hesitate is to have already lost." He didn't mean to rush blindly. He meant to trust the rhythm of intuition sharpened by discipline. Every time you act, you gather truth. Every time you stall, you feed fear. You don't conquer life by waiting. You conquer it by moving. But Musashi's greatest weapon wasn't the sword. It was the art of ignoring. In battle, he was surrounded by countless distractions: the wind, the noise of the crowd, the glint of the enemy's blade. But he saw only one thing: the opponent's center. Everything else was meaningless. He created what he called the circle of relevance. Inside the circle are the things that matter: health, purpose, craft, discipline, honor, growth. Outside the circle are the illusions: gossip, comparison, envy, the opinions of strangers. Every time you waste energy on what lies outside the circle, you weaken your mind. You live in a world that profits from your distraction. Every argument online, every flashing notification, every comparison, all designed to pull you out of your circle. The warrior's strength lies in the power to say, "Not my concern." Ask yourself this: is it inside or outside my circle? That stranger's opinion of you? Outside. The algorithm's reward? Outside. The voice that tells you you're not enough? Outside. Keep your focus where your soul resides. Preserve your energy for what truly matters. Musashi said, "A warrior chooses his battles not because he is afraid, but because he is wise." Every ounce of attention spent on the irrelevant steals power from what is essential. When you learn to ignore what does not serve your path begins to reveal itself. But Musashi knew that understanding without practice means nothing. Knowledge not applied is illusion, so he trained himself through repetition until philosophy became instinct. That is the heart of mastery, knowing something so deeply it becomes who you are. For 7 days, he would challenge his students to live like samurai of the mind. Day 1, cut your doubts in 3 seconds. Day 2, 10 minutes of silence at dawn. Day 3, make 3 quick, clear decisions. Day 4, write your circle of relevance. Day 5, breathe consciously before every task. Day 6, focus on one task with total attention. Day 7, accept your imperfections and transform them into action. Do not rush this path. 1 day, 1 lesson, 7 days of sharpening the sword of awareness. By the end, you won't just think differently, you'll be different. You'll feel a silence growing beneath the noise, a calm strength behind every decision. But understand this: the path doesn't end in 7 days. It begins there. Musashi trained for 60 years and still called himself a student. The way has no finish line. It only deepens. The enemy that does not bleed never disappears. It simply grows weaker each time you meet it with awareness. He once said, "The true warrior is not the one who always wins, but the one who never gives up." Your mind will resist. It will whisper excuses, summon distractions, promise you comfort. Let it speak, and act anyway. That is the true duel. That is the way. You don't have to wait for peace to begin. You create peace by acting in spite of noise. The storm will always exist. The question is, will you let it own you, or will you master it? because in the end you will not be remembered for the thoughts you had but for the clarity with which you lived. The warrior within you is waiting, calm, still, and ready. It's time to rise, time to fight, time to live. Train your mind, master yourself, walk the dojo path.